Hello and welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you're all doing good. Today is 2nd December, Sunday today. Very interesting quote for you guys by Napoleon Hill. Strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. If you want to excel in anything in your life, make sure that you maintain that continuity. Continuity is the key. With this, dear friends, our pen drive and tablet courses are available for various different exams. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. If you have any question or queries regarding it, feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Now, Sunday, the Hindu analysis is a bit different for new students. I'm just giving you a brief of what we have got on our table today. So because we don't get editorials and articles on Sundays, I have got a special topic for you guys, and this special topic, like every other special topic, is something that is a bit different. You learn so many things from it, hopefully. And today's special topic is again a very interesting special topic. It is about dairy sector, as you can see on your screen, and then we will go through some important news items. So let's crack on. Now, dairy sector is one of the most important sector in our country. Why? I am going to prove it why it is important for or why this sector is important for our economy, for the people of our country, how we can get rid of poverty, how we can decrease this pressure on our urban area, how it can change things in our country. There are so many things that we are going to learn today. Now, a meeting took place in South Korea, International Dairy Federation's World Dairy Summit. It took place in South Korea, and India was represented by R.S. Sodhi. R.S. Sodhi is MD, Managing Director of Amul. Now, I'm sure I don't have to explain what Amul is. Amul is a big brand, right? And we know the story of this Dr. Kurian Joseph, and how it all started and things. So, MD of Amul represented India, and here you have two important basic facts regarding India and milk production. India is world's largest milk producer at present, and India is emerging as a major exporter as well. Our production is, is getting, or it's overtaking our consumption. Our consumption, say for example, just to understand this scenario, just imagine that our per day consumption or per year consumption is 100 liter of milk. I'm talking about the whole country. And if our production at present is 101, that means that we are producing 1 liter extra. Now it's expanding 2, 3. So next year it will be 102, 103, 104, and our consumption is 100. So that means it's basically surpassing. This production is overtaking our consumption. So that means there are high chances of exporting milk to various different parts of country, and this is what is happening, right? India is emerging as a major exporter. Now, today I'm going to take you through some important facts and figures as well. So there are a few numbers as well on your screen. So don't worry about remembering all these numbers. You don't have to remember all of them. You have to understand all these figures, and you can remember one or two, and you can use it. You can keep it your fingertip, and then you can use it when you are writing answer about a particular thing, right? So as you practice, you will shine. Now, India's decadal, that means in last 10 years, milk production growth of our country has been 4.8 CAGR. CAGR stands for compound annual growth rate. CAGR, that means compound annual growth rate. So our in last one decade, in last 10 years, our growth was on an average 4.8, and global milk production average is 1.8%. Our was 4.8, global was 1.8. So here you can see that we are far ahead. In last 5 years, right, we have improved. 5 years average is 5.4 CAGR, which is not bad. In 2017, if we go through world production of milk, we find that the number is 849 MMT. That is million metric tons. MMT stands for million metric tons. So world production as far as milk is concerned, was in 2017 849 MMT, and that means 232 crore liters per day. You don't have to again remember these numbers, but here you can see our size. Almost 20% out of this 849, that means 174 MMT was produced just in India. We have countries like USA, right? USA is a big country in terms of milk production. It was far behind, right, at 97.7 MMT. So just imagine that if we don't have that, all those facilities here, we don't have those latest facilities that we find in dairy sector in USA, in countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand is a big name, the Netherlands is a big name. Over there, if we go, then we find that they are using latest technologies and so many things, and their per cow production, milk production is a bit higher compared to us. Then as well, if we are 174 MMT, then just imagine when we add all those technologies and all those best practices, then we can, no one can match us. India's milk production is expected to outperform global production and grow to 185 MMT per annum. Right here, we are at present 174, and we are going to add 10 or 11 more MMT per annum and surpass EU, that is European Union's total production. You have at present 27 countries in EU. We are going to surpass 27 countries or European Union's total production by 2020. Milk is, and this is one of the most important line ever, milk is the largest crop in India in terms of value. Remember, right, when we talk about crop, we talk about paddy, we talk about wheat, we talk about bajra and so many other crops. But milk is the largest crop in India in terms of value. One of the most important crop for our farmers. And you know how important farmers are for our country. We have talked about this thing so many times, right, that 50% plus people or population of our country is associated with agriculture. So 6.5 lakh crore, which is more than the total value of paddy and wheat put together. Total of paddy and wheat, if you add that, then it is far below than 6.5 lakh crore, which we just get from milk production. Out of total agricultural GDP, 26% is contributed by milk, right? So you can imagine how important milk is. And there are other benefits of this milk sector, like say for example, Mr. Sodhi said that in next 5 years, while the projected net additional volume that will be generated by all dairy producing countries will be around 25 MMT per annum, India will add 32 MMT additional volume annually. Nearly all neighboring countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and in fact China as well, all of them are struggling and they are facing this ghost or specter of milk deficiency. And here, our production is increasing and we are one of the biggest producer in the world. And just imagine if we can supply milk to Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, China. Milk is used for so many different items, for cooking, for tea. Tea is again something that is quite common in all these countries, right? China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, India, and South Asia. Generally speaking, every country now, but still, this milky tea is something that is quite common in this region. So you can imagine that demand of milk is 24/7, 365 days in all this region. So big market is there for us to explore. Then we are also investing considerably in creating value-added products, right? Value-added products are in demand in developed countries, like I'm talking about cheese and cheddar, and there are so many various different types of cheese as well. So we have this potential. There are countries like France. There are other countries as well. They are quite famous for cheese production. And what we can do here, if we have this raw material, milk, good quality milk available in our country, then we can learn these techniques and we can have partnerships with France and other countries so that we can produce cheese and other items, value-added products here in our country. isn't it? And then we can export it to various different parts of the world. What is more significant, however, is the fact that the dairy industry is expected. And again, if a second most important point if we have in today's discussion, then this is this one. The first one is this one, of course, this largest crop in terms of value. And the second most important point, and you can imagine how important it is because the amount of stress that I'm putting on this thing, is that dairy industry is expected to overtake the information technology sector as the largest employment generator. We are not talking about just primary sector here. We are talking about tertiary sector, a product that is produced in primary sector. And when we talk about value addition and other things, we are in tertiary sector. And information, India is famous for IT. We have heard about this thing whenever we travel abroad. When we say India, then people, the first thing they have is, IT. You come from a place which is quite famous for IT. Now, dairy industry is expected to overtake this thing. In future, people will be calling, oh, you come from a country. We get milk and cheese and butter and other things from your country. So, dairy industry has this potential. What we need at present, or the need of the hour, is job generation, job creation. And over next decade, this sector, this dairy sector, is expected to generate 2 crore jobs annually, has been said by Mr. Sodhi. IT sector is largely an urban employment generator. That's what is happening at present. And what we need at present is we need jobs in our rural areas. And this can be provided by dairy sector. Dairy sector will provide employment in rural areas. Ballpark calculations indicate that 11,000 people are gainfully employed in procurement, processing and packaging of 1 lakh liter of milk. Just 1 lakh liter of milk, and it can generate jobs for good quality jobs for 11,000 people. 6 crore households in our country, they are dependent on, or their livelihood is dependent on this dairy industry. And out of this 6 crore, we are talking about household here. So 6 into 5, we are talking about 30 crore people in our country are dependent on this dairying. And out of this 30 crore people, 70% are small and marginal farmers and landless families. So imagine the potential and how it will help, in changing their economical situation. And once their economical situation will change, then all other things will change as well. Domestic consumption is on rise, and one of the main reasons why domestic consumption is rises, and there are benefits of domestic consumption because milk is more like a wholesome, item. You get all this, apart from vitamin C, you get everything from milk, and milk products as well. They are quite healthy. So domestic consumption is going up at present because of our affordability has increased, changing eating habits. People are more conscious, more health conscious. Availability of milk has increased as well. Earlier on it was very less. Now it is per capita milk availability is 370 gram per person, and world's average is 260 grams. So you can clearly say that India is a country of milk. Our focus should be on cheese, yogurt, probiotic drinks, and there are so many things. Then this value-added products, big market of value-added products in our country, big potential in our country as well as neighboring countries around the world as well. It is in huge demand. CRISIL report predicts that 50% faster growth in the value-added product sector in the coming year is possible, and suggests that such products would clock 14 to 15% annual growth over the next 3 fiscal years. Now, government too should always make sure that it is supporting this important sector, and I'm not saying that government is not. Government is in fact supporting with this national dairy plan. The phase 1 is going on, and the main aim of this phase 1 is cattle productivity, increasing the production of milk, expand rural milk procurement infrastructure, and provide greater market access to farmers. So if we provide all these urban amenities or these facilities that we have provided to this IT sector, if those qualitative items are provided to qualitative items in good quantity is provided to this farmers and all those people who are associated with this dairy production, then we can create so many jobs. We can change the scenario of our country. Then this can work as, if you think about it, right, it can help us mitigate this negative impact of climate change as well. Falling because of climate change, we have seen that droughts and floods and other things are taking place. So your agricultural land gets destroyed. Of course, it is going to impact your dairy production as well, directly, indirectly. But still, you can at least survive, So it can mitigate these risks. And I'm not saying in severe flood, it is going to get affected. But when you have a little bit of ups and downs, then your dairy sector, if you are producing milk, and if you are a milk producer, if you are selling milk, then at least you will make something out of it. And there are examples like, in Gujarat, you have this region called Banaskantha, and not this year, but in 2017, there was a big flood in this part of Gujarat, and on an average, a family used to make 10 to 15,000 per month from milk production. And there were few families out there in Banaskantha. They used to make 2 lakh to 3 lakh rupees per month just from milk production. All of them are farmers. So you can imagine the role it can play in changing the economical situation of people of our country. Now, procurement prices are, becoming increasingly non-remunerative for farmers. So this is something that we need to look. It should be made a bit smooth. And there is also one big problem when it comes to our. This dairy industry is this trust. So much of adulteration takes place and malpractices and other things. So FSSAI should keep an eye on this thing, and we have to make sure that milk, if you purchase from anywhere in our country, it should be of good quality. So these are a few things associated with this particular topic, and I'm sure it was a fruitful discussion for you guys. Do let me know how was today's topic. With this, let's go through some news items. We don't have that many, but I'm going to take you through most important news items that we find in today's The Hindu newspaper. Now, this Gurudwara is again in news because of this, Kartarpur corridor that both India and Pakistan, they are going to work on this thing, and it's going to be a very important thing. Just 1 or 2 days ago, we were talking about this thing, that how it can mend this ties between, mend these cracks that have been there for a very long period of time between India and Pakistan. We have this people-to-people contact thing, and this thing has potential. This corridor has potential to cement these ties. And this corridor is important because Guru Nanak spent the last 18 years of his life at Kartarpur before his demise in 1539. The present Gurudwara was rebuilt in 1925, and this shrine is important because this last copies of the original Guru Granth Sahib, which was first described in detail in 1860, 3 centuries after Nanak Ji, is here in this place. So this is again one of the most important place for both these countries and people of both the countries, India and Pakistan. Now, you'll find this picture on the first page of the Hindu newspaper today, and it is about this big earthquake that jolted southern Alaska. Alaska is this portion here, and Alaska is a state of United States of America. We know that this is USA. This portion is USA, but they have their one state here, Alaska. And if you look at it, it's quite interesting. We can also say that USA and Russia, they are neighboring countries, because there is just this Bering Strait that is separating these two rivals from each other, because you have this Alaska here, and then you have this Siberian and other portion of Russia. Now, it's quite common to find this sort of big 7 plus earthquakes here, because this whole region is part of this ring of fire. If you want to know more about ring of fire, do check out your NCERTs, right? To go through this chapters that are talking about plate tectonics. So there are a few chapters I still remember. They are directly on earthquake. So if you read these chapters of earthquake, then you will come across this ring of fire. It's all about this tectonic plates, right? And this whole region is famous for earthquakes. You have world's most scariest earthquakes taking place here. You have volcanoes here, right? Indonesia and all these places are in news. New Zealand and all these places, Japan. because of this ring of fire. Now, we have this person on our screen. His name is George H.W. Bush, and he is no more. So he was former president of USA. His son, George W. Bush, was also president of United States of America during his tenure. It was Cold War. And we also saw, I'm sure you are aware about this film, Indian film called Airlift. It's about this attack of Saddam Hussein's force on Kuwait. At that point of time as well, the president who played a very important role was this man here, President George H.W. Bush. He was 41st USA's president. And as you can see here, he was World War II pilot. He was a skilled diplomat, one-time CIA chief. And his son, as well, as I told you, that George W. Bush also followed his footsteps to Oval Office. With this, dear friends, we have one more news item. CBI names Huda in land case charge sheet. Now, the only thing that we can make out of this news item is that it takes ages, right? Huge amount of time when it comes to big names, big politicians. I'm not saying that they are wrong all the time, but the sad thing is it takes ages, right? See here, a crime allegedly took place in 2005, and here we are in 2018, and this still, this is just a charge sheet, and still the case will go on and take ages. So that's a very sad thing. But we have a good news item coming from G20 that is taking place in Argentina. That is in South America again. Dear friends, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed that there has been a perceptible improvement. And we were talking about this thing yesterday. Remember that after this Wuhan informal summit, we can see a sort of drastic change in this relationship between both these countries. We are, looking to meet each other. We are listening to each other. We are trying to sort out problems between each other, and we have also talked about this 2+1 format. If you remember, 2+1 means India and China together will have a chat with a third country. It was Nepal at that point of time. So this is again a very interesting format. So all these things are happening after this Wuhan informal summit between Mr. Xi and Mr. Modi. So things are so far so good. We are also ready to, work as a partners in terms of saving globalization when it comes to climate change. This December meeting that is going to take place, going to start from tomorrow in Poland. We are with each other because both these countries even today are part of this developing world. Moving on to next news item. We don't have that many, as I told you, so last few items to go. Important news that Ramaphosa, who is president of Cyril Ramaphosa, his full name, the person that you can see on your screen, he is president of South Africa, and he is going to be our Republic Day guest. India, USA to review defense deals, because our defense minister is going to be there for 4-5 days. She will be there. And we are going to talk about this 24 MH-60R multi-role helicopters. Then CATSA will be discussed, that is countering America's adversaries through Sanctions Act. And United Nations says that at present there is no possibility of Rohingya returning back to Rakhine state of Myanmar, because at present as well they are afraid about their persecution. Tiger numbers on rise, and this has been published in this PLOS One, right? It's a research group, and they are conducted by 49 conservationists of WWF, that is Worldwide Fund for Nature. They have came out with this finding that this projection that things are going to improve as far as this 10 tiger range countries are concerned. And here you have few names, and I would like you guys to go through and keep these names in your mind, because these names are important. Like Manas that you find in India and in Bhutan as well, Valmiki that you find in Bihar and Nepal, and there are others as well. So help yourself with all these names. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. I have already shared it with you guys, and share this lecture with other students. God bless you all. I'll see you tomorrow early morning. Till then, God bless you all. Jai Hind.